Hi, you're listening to Boggy Talk, Faith Conversations in the Mud, a resource of Church on Bayshore.
We're back. Welcome to Boggy Talk. Yeah.
Back again.
Yeah.
Do you know that song?
Boys are back. I don't know that.
Whoa, okay. I don't know what that was. I was 90s rap and you were, okay.
I don't even know. It's probably some random 80s song. Anyway.
Was it Back in Town, boys? Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. So, hey.
Who is that? Who sings that?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I never know band
Who
names
sings
or singer
Boggy's
names.
back again? Well, it's not Boggy's back.
All I can think of is I want my baby back.
Shady's back again. Eminem.
I want my boggy back. The Chili's rib songs, but baby back. That just popped into my head because that's about the state of things today.
Boggy's back.
So,
all right.
Yeah. Come on. Can we keep it going?
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Oh, man.
My daughter was very impressed the other day of how much I know of Backstreet Boys songs.
That is pretty impressive.
Them,
yeah.
so.
It's funny when you pull out when the kids like are singing a song and that's like, because like the 90s and almost the 2000s are cool again.
Yeah,
and they're like, have you heard this song?
So we're cool again.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think I ever was cool.
I was not cool.
Yeah, me either.
Me either. Not at all. So,
you know what is cool?
Not summertime in Florida because it's
That's true.
hot.
That's true. It's also
what is cool?
Boggy Talk. We're back.
Boggy Talk. I'm so excited to be back after a month off in July. It was so chill. July was just the most chill month of my life.
Yeah.
We just
summer
kicked back
was so
and
relaxing.
didn't do anything all summer.
Yeah.
Listen, in life group last week, we said, go around. Our icebreaker was like, go around and how your feelings on summer ending in a word or phrase. And I just said, nah, because
it's like a bleat.
This summer has not been chill.
Noise.
Yeah, you feel like summer's going to be chill, and this summer was not chill at all.
No.
In any way, so I was like, I just feel like it's a continuation of life. So, which I mean, it is.
It's just, I always tell you, it's a different busy.
It is, yeah. A little less structure.
Right now it feels cray-cray because school's starting
School
back.
starting, ministry stuff for the fall is going back.
Budget cycle.
Budget. I'm like bang my head on the wall for that. That's just not because
just not turn in a budget
and then not spend
get money.
and then no missions, no community outreach, no worship.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So that would be bad. I would be failing. So thankful for our teams that help with that, but also it's just a lot of work.
It took me like 30 minutes to do my budget because I have the smallest budget.
That's right.
And it's pretty straightforward.
You're
so
just like,
everybody's like sweating over there. So I'm like, what's the big deal, guys?
Right. Yeah. Well, part of it is like our system. It's like thankfully our stewardship team does a good job of making sure that we steward our resources well, which on the front end of things means we really have to project and plan well, which is also wise, but also not the funnest part, but also it is good. So this is just a great example of why we're the body of Christ and everybody's got a part, and thankful.
Numbers matter because people matter,
that's
Justin.
Right. They represent what
you
God
creatives need to hear that.
It's absolutely right. That's right.
Just kidding. Yes, summer.
So hey, we just thought we would talk about the summer, kind of recap some things that happened this summer, and really highlight the importance of why you should stay engaged in the summer. Yeah, because I think a lot of times people do check out. One, because people are tired into the school year. Families are just, let's get out, let's peace out. But it's important to stay engaged, and new seasons represent new opportunities. So
agreed. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So this summer, let's just quickly recap some great things that happened. Kids camp. Infuge camp, our students had a great time serving in Mobile. We had a team of 35 that served in Dominican Republic, they had an incredible time, incredible experience.
Some baptisms while they're there.
Exactly. Baptisms while they're there. So God worked through them, but also worked in them. Uganda team was we had a great time.
Do you have any baptisms?
No
the Dominican team
everybody
won.
was
the
already,
Dominican team
already in there, but got to spend time with Laura Jones Moingo, and she's newly married and got to spend time with her new husband, Godfrey.
How many years do you think it'll take before people in our church use her last name? I
don't know that some people ever will.
Oh, okay.
And Laura's prepared for that, but I did ask her. I was like, so hey, like in all of our stuff on do you want us to she's like, yeah, change it. So and then she was like, thank you for asking. So and then Bayshore Kids Clubs. Let's not forget that outreach opportunity. And there were, it feels like that happened. But there were, we connected with a lot of non-church families during Kids Clubs, which is good. And I know that
equipping
those
classes. Remember?
Equipping classes.
Did you say that?
Yeah, no, I didn't say that.
Okay. I didn't say that.
No, yeah,
yeah,
no,
nah.
yeah,
yeah, nah.
That was like a very Indian way to answer. Like,
that's right.
Yes, no, I didn't say that.
also a very Baker way of answering too. India and Baker, Florida.
Yeah. I didn't mention those, but those were great. And one of the big things that I heard personally just from several people, they appreciated the content, they appreciated the format, but they really appreciated getting to meet new people. Which was a goal. That was a goal of mixing up the groups. So
that was good.
Particularly some of our younger families getting to meet some of our older family, not older people, but older families, seniors. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. No, those are all good. I mean, attendance has been really good over the summer, so that's also been cool. And I think, we had some challenges over the summer. And so I would say, like, in addition to all the like kind of unique things over the summer, is life still happens, ministry still happens. And so by staying engaged, like if there are challenges and problems in the church, you're still kind of aware, and then you're still seeing all the good things. I mean, we've seen a lot of baptisms this summer. I think it's just valuable. That doesn't mean that we're saying like you shouldn't take vacations.
Yeah.
And I realize that like it is an opportunity to leverage the summer. Usually I'll typically take a couple weeks off during the summer because my family's home and all that. It's interesting. I was actually not on vacation when I was not preaching here. Yeah. And then I was on vacation when I was preaching.
It was kind of funny.
Yeah. It was kind of strange.
Yes.
But anyway, so I just think like in addition to like, all the cool things that happen uniquely over the summer, just, staying a part of the community is really valuable. And I do think that like, a lot of people, will find themselves, the number one time that people end up like looking for a new church is often during the summer. And some of that is because people move during the summer. Some of that is because it is a good time to do that. But some of that is people get disconnected. Yeah. And then they just kind of feel like they're not connected. And it's like, it's because you disconnected, you know? And so I think ensuring that connection is happening is valuable for our own spiritual walk as well.
Right. And you really have to, it goes back to intentionality. You've got to be intentional of this because we will just kind of naturally disconnect. Relationships take work. Community takes work, and you have to be there to be a part of it. You have to be engaged, and I think you're right on. A lot of times when you hear people like say that I just feel disconnected, and the first question to always ask in that, like myself included, is like, okay, so why? And is it something like I'm doing? Is it just the busyness of life, or have I allowed that to then dictate feeling connected? And just own it, and then make changes. Think about where you want to be and what are steps you can get to where you want to be. And if that means you got to engage, you've got to inconvenience yourself to make time to be a part of it, like do it. It's that important. So
no, absolutely.
Yeah, one thing that we did take a week off and go up to the mountains, in which I enjoy the mountains. One thing I learned this summer is that I've got to stop setting myself up for disappointment with great expectations, with
the book,
with the book, Great Expectations.
You read it every summer.
I remember reading that in 9th grade. What a terrible book to have to read.
Tell Two Cities was so much better. Charles Dickens.
You totally. I remember reading that and being like, what's going on? Anyway, just thinking like in my mind, life had been so busy and like, oh, we're going to go away to the mountains and it's going to be so peaceful. Because you think of the mountains, you think, oh, it's going to be peaceful. It's going to be quiet and we're going to go hike and it's going to be, and the thing that I forgot is, we're going to be there, all 8 of us. And it was not quiet. It was restful, though, once I kind of got over my frustration, which was just me with unrealistic expectations. And I think that's kind of, people have unrealistic expectations of community. When it comes to engagement and being a part of it, we have unrealistic expectations of what people should do. People should reach out, all those things. So
I think whether it's family or it's church or it's anywhere you go, like if you are around people, there you are around sinners, and so it is I don't like the word unfair, but it is not appropriate to expect perfection, apart from Christ, So I think that's good. We went on, our kids range from 5 to 15. It's like, or 5 to 14. It's like, So, like, what do you do on a trip that
everybody wants
everybody
to do?
enjoys
Eat.
doing?
That's what everybody wants to eat, but then even then they can't agree on what to eat. So,
so then I think about it from our church, like, you got 1,000+ people. It's like, how do you do something that everybody's going to be happy with, and I think, yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say, I don't know that you can.
You can't,
honestly. You just have to say, this is where you lean into maturity. And I think I told you this the other day. I had a conversation with one of our kids who was venting some frustration that he was frustrated. He's like, we're all fine until you make us do something together. And I was like, you know what? That's called sin, because everybody's selfish. We all want what we want.
Yeah.
And we're called, like, as a family unit, like the 8 of us, we're called to submit one to another, like we're called to serve each other. And the same is true for the church. And that requires maturity. Now, my kids are kids. They don't always get that perfectly. And let's just be true. Let's just be real. Like, adults don't get that in the church either perfectly.
Right.
So
No.
we've got to grow in the area of just serving each other in that, and not having to get our way and everything.
Consider others more significant than yourselves. Yeah. A pastor I heard one time say, you don't understand people's spiritual maturity until they don't get their way. And I do agree with that. Like, you really do see people's love for Jesus and their commitment to others when they don't get their way.
That's
and
right. It reveals.
We should not all, like, if you're always getting your way at home or in church or wherever it might be, like, that's not good.
Right.
Like, you are not God. You should not always be getting your way.
Right. Right. Because it's ultimately like that.
God doesn't always get his way. And he should be.
Yeah. If you're always if you're always getting your way, it means everyone else is probably either afraid of you. And if you like that everyone's afraid of you, that's not right. Like, or you're just a jerk. And, like, we have to, because no one has the best idea every time, no one's way is best every time. So really, that's
tying this back in. We're talking about summer and, expectations. And I think the drift away from, community that we experience. And I think you see that over the summer. And so I think, that's why it's important to press in. And, churches, I think about our, like, summer activities. We do things a little differently, and we didn't really have major pushback, but we took a break from groups, and did these equipping classes, and we've made a strategic focus on not backyard Bible club, Bayshore Kids Clubs instead of on-campus VBS, which started with COVID, but just because we're seeing response from that, like, I would just say there's always change is happening even within a year. And so and some of that's seasonal, and some of that is just the way things happen. And I think the best way that we can be a part of, seeing the church move forward in the right direction is by being involved. Because we can speak into kind of those situations a little more when we're involved. If we don't think changes are right or things we did. Because, like, for example, our equipping classes this summer, we did it this summer, we're giving it a go, but we weren't like, we're going to do this this way every year.
Every year.
We're like,
let's
we'll
try
see,
it.
And we'll evaluate.
Yeah. And it came out of was birthed out of the desire to do equipping classes. But how do we fit that in? And then we realized, hey, we probably could do this on a Sunday. And I remember when we planned it, we literally said, this may go great and it may be a disaster. And if it's a disaster, we'll know, and we'll try something else. Right. And if it goes great, or there's things we can learn to make it better, we'll be committed to that.
That's literally what I said to Chrissy when I proposed.
Oh, this could go great, or
this could go great, or this could be a disaster.
Don't leave me.
So moral of the story.
Yeah.
Humble yourself before Christ, stay connected to your church body.
Yeah.
And keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
And we might have some new Boggy Talk listeners.
Yeah. Hey,
because
welcome to Boggy Talk.
Got a lot of new people coming to our church now.
Yeah, there are lots of new folks. So welcome to Boggy Talk. So I do want to ask this question because it is August. It's a new school year, which is kind of like a quote unquote new year. So how would you, off the top of your head, let's just say someone's rolled into the school year, like, great expectations, but also exhausted, but determined to be different than they were last year. What advice would you give someone starting a new school year, like New Year's, just, hey, do this. Be sure this year you do this to stay connected.
Start with one thing.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. So don't be like, I need to change all the things.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you want things to be different, make a change in one area. So maybe it's, I'm going to start going to a life group. I'm going to start serving in children's ministry. I'm going to start reading my Bible every day.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend an hour. I'm going to make an intentional effort to engage people at my child's school. You know, I'm going to serve 1 hour, like at school, whatever it might be. Like, I would just say start with something and then build from there.
Yeah.
I do think that specifically type A people, when you feel like your life is not where it should be, like you try to make an overcorrection. That doesn't mean there isn't a time and a place where that happens, but that's what I would say would be my number one, is start somewhere.
Yeah.
So
that's good. That's good.
What
Yeah.
about you?
I would just say along
Back
those
at
lines.
you.
Yeah. Back at you. Prioritize. Like, go through your schedule and prioritize what's most important, and make like what really is the most important thing, and make sure that that is what you prioritize, and not let everything else dictate those things so that you neglect the priorities. Like, if connection it should be a priority. Like, how are you going to prioritize that? Like all the activities, if you have kids, like they don't have to be involved in everything, not letting that control, your schedule. It's hard. And I mean, I get this. We have kids, we have 6, and they're all involved in something, but they're also not involved in everything because we tell them they can't be. And I can't get them everywhere they've got to be, but also like just not letting that dictate what's most important to us, and not letting that control us or be ruled by that. So I would just say like intentionality, like go ahead and plan. Like, what are we, because everything you say yes to, you have to say no to something else. Like, there's limited time. You are a limited person with limited energy, with limited time. And if
challenge accepted.
That's right.
No, I'm just kidding.
So anyway, I just think it's important to reevaluate these kind of like natural new beginnings of seasons.
That's a key word, evaluate too. Like, so if you're making a change, like, okay, I'm going to evaluate this in a month. So I think like one wise thing in a marriage is like having weekly or monthly, like, hey, we're sitting down and we're just talking about how things are going and what needs to change and all that. Church, we try to evaluate, pretty often. I think evaluation is often the overlooked part. Like, I tell people, like, it's one thing to come up with a budget and like you get an Excel spreadsheet.
Yep.
And there's another thing to actually follow it.
And then to evaluate where you didn't go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's valuable. Hey, one thing about summer that we overlooked.
Yeah.
That needs to be mentioned on this podcast. Okay. Before we move on.
Okay.
Is it was the end of an era for the Wyatt family.
What was the end? Oh, well, we
the
now.
Van.
It was. I was like, which era?
You are not a part of the cool squad anymore.
We don't have a big family van anymore.
You don't have a 12-passenger van anymore.
I know, and it's so liberating.
We're behind you. I'm like a step behind you in life. It is funny.
So long story short, our oldest turned 16, and one, it's really expensive to have a 16-year insurance anyway. It's even more expensive to have a 16-year-old when one of your vehicles is rated as a commercial vehicle. Yeah. And so we just had to logistically do that. And so, no more big family.
I just feel like,
it really is.
There's a chasm between us.
Can
now,
I just
Justin?
confess something? I kind of like was like, had no emotions about, I was like, our van had 130,000 miles on it. It was, we'd had it 7 years. It had seen better days in terms of its engine, and I was thankful we got what we got for it. But once we traded it in, I had this like moment standing in the parking lot, like, like this montage music playing in my head, like going through all the memories of, I was like,
I will remember you.
And then like, because in the same week I was sitting on like our patio in the back, and we had this like one of those hexagon domes that the kids played on, and they've all just kind of outgrown it. And I told Christy, like, I think it's probably time to get rid of that. And then
I'll take it.
And then I was looking at it, and I was like, literally like seeing the kids.
You're like crying. Oh no. I remember when they broke their arm on that thing.
Seriously, it's so dangerous. Yeah. But end of an era. We have a driver. It is pretty great having a teenager who can drive, who's for 16-year-olds, he's a responsible guy. So thankful for that. But it is, man. So if you have a child, if your first child's about to turn 16, one, just be prepared that your insurance is about to break you. And two, just pray.
I see my future.
Right.
I see my future over there.
Cool. Well, hey, let's ask some questions.
We got 2 questions, right?
Got 2 questions. So first question is, you've got it there on your phone, so go for it.
You want me to start with that one or the other one?
Other. Let's do the other. It doesn't matter.
Somebody
asked me.
How are we?
How are you?
They want to know, how are we?
Yeah, and
specifically because within our church family, some people know there's some challenges this summer. By God's grace, the church is doing great. But I'll start. I'm good. God is good. I feel just so loved by the Lord. I see his word as true, and we really have a wonderful church family. And I'm just so grateful for just the incredible maturity and the number of godly people who are in my life. And I just feel, I just see how beautiful Jesus is and his grace is. And I have a compassion for people. It's just growing. So I would just say that, while I feel like there's been some trials in my life, I consider it pure joy when I face trials of many kinds, because I know the testing of my faith develops perseverance, but perseverance must finish its work in you, which means I don't get to say when it's done. And you'll be complete.
Or what the work
lacking.
looks like.
Yeah. So, and you'll be complete, lacking nothing. And so if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. And I just feel like God, that's all true, and I rejoice, and I'm thankful for what the Lord's doing in my life. And man, I'm so thankful. I mean, again, sometimes when you go through a fire, like it does cause you to prioritize and to see what really matters. And I will say that I think, like, we've alluded to this in Boggy Talk before, like, where there's more and more people dropping out of ministry and less of a bench of ministers. And I just feel like God has called me, to shepherd people and proclaim the word, and more than ever. And so, man, I just am forever grateful for that. And I would say that too, like, whenever something is challenging in your life, in Psalm 6, David has something coming against him, and he didn't bring it about, but it causes him to evaluate himself and see his sin. And I would say that, God continues to show me ways that I need to be more like him.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
I'm good. Thank you. That person sincerely cares about us and wants to know. So
for sure. Yeah.
How are you?
I am, I think something I feel God has done this summer, like right now, I just am so much more confident in his word. Like, not that I was not confident, but you go through, you see things happen, and you see the collective wisdom of the body of Christ, trusting him, following what instructions he gives us in the word. And he's just faithful. And I think resting in that gives me strength, because I do feel simultaneously like rest in the Lord. Not rest in life or rest in ministry. I do feel a little bit out of breath in those ways, but the rest in the Lord is sustaining. I think that's how I feel like right now, because it's it's busy season. We have we are hiring a couple of things, like positions here to help, and some things that are needed. And I think right now, like, carrying extra loads is tiring, but also God is faithful, and our church is super supportive and gracious. And so I think,
if you or somebody is interested in overseeing our media and IT,
media production, IT, and
they could be, they don't have to know it all. Just have the aptitude to do it. And have a good work ethic.
Exactly.
We'd love to bring them on. A great team to work for.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I'm not in the office that much, so it's really great. It's a really great environment.
I'm a great boss.
You'll be their boss. Yeah.
So,
and Steve Reno will make up for where Justin isn't clear. So.
That's right. He'll be like, do this. In a very kind way.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Second question.
Okay.
So have y'all seen The Sound of Freedom? And if so, what are your thoughts and opinions? How can we as the church fight sex slavery? Are there any local organizations we can partner with? And is Church on Bayshore in partnership with anything addressing this modern day slavery?
That's a great question. So I'll start. I haven't seen the movie because I've not had time to see the movie, though I do plan to see the movie. I know people who've seen the movie and
likely story.
Just said, I will see it. I will. I know people who've seen it and who were deeply, deeply impacted by it. I would say one critique that I've seen is that in the movie it shows sex trafficking. Like, I think it's by kids that, the people who traffic them are strangers, and how most trafficking happens by people who are known. I would just say it's a movie, and it's trying to show a big picture of things. So they cannot nuance every nuance of sex trafficking in this, but I think it does depict a very real thing that is happening in our world, in our country, and in our area, to be honest. So, I would say in our area, I don't know there. I mean, it is a part in the state of Florida is part of the child welfare services and things that they're doing. I would say we do have a direct link to One More Child. And a lot of people don't know that One More Child in our area specifically don't know that one of the 5 main ministries of One More Child, formerly Florida Baptist Children's Homes, for those of you who've been Baptist a while, one of their 5 main areas of ministry is anti-trafficking. And so they've actually, not just in the state of Florida, but in North Carolina and now in Tennessee, are working with what they call mobile anti-trafficking units, where law enforcement does a sting, rescues U.S. Marshals, FBI, whoever it is, and then they are literally calling One More Child on the scene to pull the child or the teen or the woman out and to begin restorative services and to begin the healing process. So when we do our meal packings, some of those meals are actually used for their anti-trafficking mobile units. They're actually contracted by the state of Florida, which is pretty amazing to think a state is contracting a faith-based organization to provide this kind of care. They're also doing trainings. One More Child is also doing trainings for the government in the state, not just here, but actually One More Child's actually been tapped to train the entire government of Nicaragua, which is pretty amazing when you think about, Guatemala, which is, you think about that, is pretty amazing. I wouldn't have questioned you. Yeah, I said it so confidently, and then I realized it was the wrong Central American country. But yeah, so I would just say they are a great organization to support in this, and we do support One More Child wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean, you said everything. I would just say that, law enforcement, obviously, we do have a country with law enforcement that is becoming more and more aware of this. And so, praise God for that. And I think, I think one of the things, this is something that really pulls on people's hearts, but it is something that's very challenging for you to be directly involved with in terms of a volunteer standpoint. Right. And aside from on the rehabilitation side, and even then you have to be very protective because there's a lot of trauma associated with those people. I remember whenever, it was actually, I don't know if you remember but the movie Taken really did bring more awareness to this. And a lot of Christians were being really driven by this and wanted to do something. It was really, we need money for legal stuff. That's really the biggest need is attorneys to be fighting these battles internationally. Right. I mean, pushing our government, to work in these ways, because at the end of the day, the organizations can be an aid, but ultimately this is about justice, and governments being advocates for justice. And so it's kind of this big thing that education is important, so we're aware of things. And if something looks strange, say something. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's a lot of financial need from some of these organizations that are doing a great work. Absolutely.
And I think, there's a lot of conversation and talk about the link between sex trafficking and the pornography industry. So a very practical step is to fight that as well, in your own home, in your own heart, in your own life, and accountability with other people, because industries are driven by demand.
Yes.
And so
that's right.
That's
a great point.
Yeah. And I just had an idea. We should get somebody from One More Child to talk about this on Boggy Talk. This would be great. So
that would be great. We should do a One More Child.
We should. Thing. We will sometime. Do that sometime soon. Coming. Yeah. You had one more thing you were just thinking.
Nope, that was perfect.
Okay. You sure?
Yep.
So to cap it off today, we're going to play a little game. And since it's back to school, it's only fitting that we play a little round of The Price is Right. Back to School edition.
Do you know what movie that's from? Back to School.
No, I have no clue. I'm so bad with movies.
Billy Madison.
Oh, yeah. I have seen that movie a lot, but it's been a long time. So
my backpack's packed. My lunch packed, or my lunch. Oh, man.
Adam Sandler.
What a that is not a movie I endorse.
No,
people. Yeah, maybe on TBS.
Yeah, watch it airplane version.
Does TBS still exist?
I don't. I don't
TNT,
know. It does. It's something.
Isn't it weird that there's still people who they just watch cable?
Isn't it funny that cable still exists? I mean, just I know. It's funny.
They're just pulling up the guide and
our children will never understand the struggle. What's funny is
I can't understand Hulu. because we have Hulu for free with Verizon.
Oh, gotcha.
But you have to watch ads, and I'm like,
Oh, it is.
For 50 seconds.
It's so annoying. You know, our kids will never understand the fact that like when a show came on, you had to watch it then.
Yes.
And life revolved around that. And if your parents scheduled something on Thursday nights, you were going to miss your show and then not see it until it came on a rerun in like 4 months. And it was terrible.
That was a hard.
And you had to run to the
days.
bathroom because you had
In
2.5
the snow.
minutes. Yeah, that's right. Both ways.
Up the woods.
All right. So I'm going to name a school supply
Ooh.
and a price. And you are going to tell me if that price is over or under the actual retail price of that.
Okay.
Okay. So this is kind of fulfilling a childhood dream of mine of hosting The Price is Right.
You
right
would
now.
be a great game show
I would
host.
love to host a game show. I would
You
love.
know what? When
What?
we do our marriage conference last weekend of February next year, you're going to host the game.
I
We're gonna
can't
make
wait.
it
I'm
happen.
already
Yeah.
excited. We're going to be working on
Sorry,
the theme
Jordan
music.
Renna. You're fired.
No, she was pretty good.
She was good.
She's funny.
She was
Jordan
good.
Renna is very quick-witted.
She is.
All right. So item number 1. Here we have Fiskars, excuse me. I've had to learn how to pronounce Fiskars blunt tip 5-inch scissors. It's very important. They must be Fiskars because that's what is on the official school list. And our actual or the retail price is $4.99. Is that over or under the actual retail price?
I think that is under.
You are correct. The actual
Yay.
retail price, according to Walmart.com, is $5.47.
Okay, it was close though.
For scissors.
That doesn't seem that expensive to me.
Yeah, that's
They're
because
metal.
that's
They have-
because you've been conditioned in 2023 to think.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, scissors should be like
my
$1.
Goodness.
I'm also cheap. Frugal. I'm also frugal. All right.
I was going to say that, like my bandwidth of spending is way higher than Christy. So how we're doing school shopping is like she's going, trying to get all the kids things because she can't spend that much money. Like she just can't do it. Trying to get them. And if there's like things that need to happen still, I'm going on Saturday and just getting them.
I'm just doing it.
So
'cause you're
that
just like,
way,
it's got to be done.
Yeah. But that way, because she
That's-
could just never, they wouldn't have them.
Yes.
Like shoes, she's not going to buy them shoes because they're just too
so expensive. Yeah.
Yes,
It's
okay.
just crazy. All
Anyway.
right. So a 6-pack of 1-inch binders. 6-pack of 1-inch binders. This is
Okay.
what your high schooler is going to
Okay.
need this because they got to have one for every class.
Yes.
All right. Retail price, $13.99. Above or below?
So these are like the hardbound. They're
Hardbound binders. Yeah. 3-ring binders.
I'm gonna say that's over.
You are wrong.
Ah man,
Binders. All right. Inflation, $15.24 for a
No.
6-pack of 1-inch
No.
binders. Isn't that crazy?
No, just go to
I feel
Aldi.
so
You
old
can
saying
get them at Aldi.
Does Aldi sell school supplies? Because if so,
They
we
sell
gonna head there.
random stuff. I've
Listen.
been there one time.
We love Aldi. We go
I've been
around
there
and get
one
our
time.
fruit, and whatever fruit they got that week is what we're having that week.
Yeah.
Because that's what we got to do. All right. So
I had a bad experience with Aldi because we bought something on the package. It showed like it had the meat, and then when you bought it, there was no meat in the thing. And I'm like,
you had to add your own.
you had to add your own
Oh,
meat.
there you
Okay.
go. That's terrible.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
terrible. All right, so Ticaranda number 2 pencils have to be this brand. That's
Okay.
the brand that
Ticaranda.
elementary school teachers want. It's on the list. It's official. Ticaranda.
Not yellow number 2 anymore.
But they're yellow and they're number 2, but it has to be this brand. I don't know why. This
So is
brand,
yellow not a brand?
No, I don't know. But they have to be
I thought it was
Ticaranda.
like yellow registered trademark.
We need a teacher to clarify this for us, but I just know
Well, let's wait.
Ticaranda is the magic word.
Okay, Tiger Rhonda. Okay.
24 count.
Tiger Rhonda,
Tika.
like
T-I-C-A-R.
like a woman named Rhonda. Tiger, she makes the pencils. Tiger Rhonda is making the
Ticaranda.
pencils.
That is probably how it got its name. That is why it has that name. All right.
Like kid, like Tyke Rhonda.
Yes. All right.
Yeah,
So
okay.
24 count. The special
24
brand
count.
of pencil, $5.49. Over or under?
I'm gonna go. That's under.
That is actually over. $3.97 at Walmart.
Wow, okay,
There you go. That
okay.
actually seems
Yeah,
like a
it's
deal.
not bad.
That's
Yeah,
probably
for-
their special back to school
Yeah.
because they know when you come in there, you're also going to buy.
They're probably subsidized by our government somehow.
That's
why
you
they're
know, that's how it's
$3.97.
happening. All right. So we're moving
The
on up to
logging
the
industry.
upper level math classes now.
Okay. Ooh, a calculator.
TI-84 plus graphing calculator. All right.
Okay.
This is.
Can I ask you a question about this real quick?
Yeah. Okay.
Did you ever really like use all that stuff, or did you
Yes.
just pretend like you were actually using it?
Oh,
for
we
all this
had to
stuff?
use it for like calculus and stuff.
Okay, all right.
Did you probably
I
just,
think
like,
like
took
I
pictures on
never
it?
fully forgot, like learned how to do it.
Well,
Anyway, okay.
I remember using them in calculus.
Yes, I do too. I hated it.
Yeah. So this is
Like,
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
I mean, we had the TI-82.
Wait. Do students still use these? They have computers.
I have
and
no
stuff.
idea. They still sell them, so I'm assuming they still use them.
So hold on.
Come on. Well, all right, we're pause the game.
Yeah. So they're like, you have to use the calculator. You can't use a computer. It's like, wait a second.
You sound like my kids.
I get if you can't. I get if you can't use any electronics.
Yeah.
But like, I can't use a better electronic than your electronic. It's still cheating.
Yeah, I understand you. It's like
my kids aren't there yet in math. So we have geometry this year.
One of our kids goes to school where they do all their math like homework online, and so he's on the computer doing his homework, but he's also on a website that's basically you type in the problem, it does it for you. He's like, "What? I'm going to be able to do this one day."
There's like, AI. Why do I need cosine and
I'm like, because this makes you smarter, and
Okay.
I will never be okay with this. And
But does that make you smarter using the calculator for those purposes?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Anyway, how much?
Maybe
calculator?
not. All right. $139.99. TI-84 plus graphing color calculator.
Ooh,
Over or under?
color.
Mm.
I'm gonna say over.
That is over.
Okay.
Bargain price at Office Depot, $129.99. Crazy.
Cray.
Okay. All right. Crayola, not Rosart, because we don't use Rosart. We don't use Rosart, right?
Oh my
Teachers are
goodness.
like, please don't send Rosart to my class
Oh,
because
my
the kids
goodness.
will literally just throw them away, especially.
Okay.
Yeah. So 64 count Crayola crayons.
How do you know all this about school supply lists, like teachers' preferences?
Just because you look at the list, like you just look at it. This is what they
Okay.
asked for.
Okay.
You know. All right.
Your kids also go to Bougie Water Elementary School.
That's what
Okay.
two of them do. All right.
So do mine, just for clarity. So I'm not
Just saying.
like hating on you. Yeah. Okay.
All right. $2.99 64 count crayon.
$2.99.
$2.99.
That seems low. That seems under.
That is correct.
Okay.
Actual retail price $3.84.
That's still I feel like that's reasonable.
That is.
I feel like
that's reasonable.
I was thinking like $10 for that.
The
so.
scissors, totally unreasonable.
If they taste
Crayons.
really good too, like
Man,
you know.
if crayons were flavored like
you don't like fruity candy though.
I don't, not
Yeah,
much.
I do.
Yeah, just every now and then.
You need like the chocolate and the peanut butter flavor.
That is the good
crayons,
stuff.
yeah.
That is the good stuff. All right, so
I don't think I ever ate crayons.
all right, moving
Did
on
you?
to the. I don't remember eating
Okay.
them, but
All right.
you know,
That's probably for the best.
it's true. All right, moving on to the bonus round. All right, in 2022, Americans will spend how much money on back to school?
Like per family?
No, total. This
Oh,
is total.
I have no idea.
All right. The number presented is $43 billion. Is that over or under what Americans will spend on back to school season?
Well, there are approximately 3 billion. I don't know.
I'm computing.
Under.
Actually, it's a little over.
Okay.
Only $37 billion will be spent on back to school. All right. So last question. The average American family will spend how much this back to school season? $583. Is that over or under?
Well, for me, that's under because I have 6 children.
That's right.
But I'm going to say that that's under for any family.
That is. The average American family will spend $661 for back to school. Isn't that insane?
That includes clothes, though, right?
That includes clothes,
Okay,
school
yeah.
supplies, and clothes. Back to school, $661 per family. And like you said, we got big families, and that's low.
And some of y'all are spending way more than that. Need to cut it down.
To make our kids
Listen.
looking so bad. Oh man,
Your kid doesn't need a new iPhone for every school year.
Hey, yeah, or new number 2 pencils. Can't we just use last year's? I don't know.
A real question is, will I also get back to school shoes when my kids get back
James
to school?
Ross.
What's your guess?
I started school this summer. Can I get back to school?
Did you know that our own little Justin Wyatt is in school?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually last week finished first seminar class working on my doctorate. So but I did not get new shoes because
did you take a back to school photo? Like, did Christy do that with a chalkboard
first
and
day?
all that?
No, because well, she actually does that for our kids.
Yes,
we
she
do.
does.
Yeah, she does that. She's good
Okay.
about that. But yeah, I did not because all
Like
my
how
money's
much
going to
you've
buy shoes.
grown.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I'm not growing up anymore.
Yes.
So I didn't get new shoes, but I really need some. Yeah, all my money's going to buy new shoes for my kids whose feet won't stop growing. And our oldest, he's 16, and he's not done growing height-wise, but I really hope he's done growing foot-wise because we can still share shoes, nice. And that is wonderful. At least while he's still home. Nobody quite has
as big as feet as me and my family.
It's coming though, because you got those boys. They're going to be there. So, yeah. Well, anything else to add for this week?
No, I think we covered about everything.
Happy back to school season, and really, we are praying for you, families, and the community, our teachers. All those who work in schools, whether you're working at a school, whether you're teaching at home, whatever you're doing, and we just pray that we keep the mission in front of us of ultimately our kids are created for God's glory. And so let's point them that way. And I look forward to a new season of Boggy Talk.
Yeah, if you have things you'd like us to cover this fall, let us know.
Please send us questions, send us ideas. We're happy to consider them and help make plans for the future. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Boggy Talk. We are so glad you joined in the conversation. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss a beat.